this lesson, we'll be writing quadratic functions. You should be able to write an equation in vertex form when you're given the point and the vertex. Write it in vertex form when you're given the graph and the point, and change it from vertex to standard. So writing from the roots, so if we want to identify the roots, the 2 points where it crosses the x-axis, write our linear factors, substitute for x and y, then solve for a, and write it in standard form. So if you have the roots, you're going to write it in standard form. If you need to write it in standard form, you need the roots. If you want to write it in vertex form, you're going to need the vertex. So substitute the vertex, h and k, substitute the points for x and y, solve for a, and then rewrite with a, h, and k. So to write it from a graph, if you want to write it in standard form, you identify the zeros and 1 point, get your factors, substitute x and y, solve for a, and write your equation. If you're going to do vertex form, that means you have the vertex and a point, substitute h, k, x, and y, solve for a, and write your equation. So for example, this one says the solutions of a quadratic equation are given, write the quadratic in factored form and standard form. So we've been given the solutions and a point. So we'll start with our y equals a times x minus r1, x minus r2. So let's fill in what we know. We know y equals a. We know x. We know the first solution and the second one. So 12 equals a times 1 times 12. Divide both sides by 12, and we get a is equal to 1. So now we can fill in our equation. Y equals 1 times x minus 4 times x plus 7. That gives us y equals x squared minus 4x plus 7x minus 28. So y equals x squared plus 3x minus 28. There's our equation in standard form. All right, this one wants us in vertex form. So we're going to start with our equation up here, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, and fill in what we know. We know that y is -2. We're going to search for a. We're going to solve for a. -3 plus 2 squared minus 3. So -2 equals a times -1 squared minus 3. So -2 equals a times 1 minus 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And a equals 1. Now we know a equals 1. We can write our equation. Y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. All right, this time we have a graph. So we have to find our points. So it doesn't have our vertex. We can't find our vertex. But we want standard form. But we can find our roots here of -2 and +2. And we can use this point of 3, 5. Make that graph a little smaller. And so we'll fill in. We know our roots are -2, 2. And our xy is 3, 5. This is x, this is y. So 5 equals a times 3 plus 2 times 3 minus 2. 5 equals a times 5 times 1. Divide both sides by 5, and we get a is equal to 1. Once we have that, we'll fill this in. Y equals x minus 2 times x plus 2. And that gets us y equals x squared minus 4. All right, this time we have the vertex and a point, and we want to write it in vertex form. So our vertex is -4, -4. So that's h and k. Our point is 0, 12. So that's x and y. Fill in what we know. 12 equals a times 0 plus 4 squared minus 4. So 12 is equal to a times 16 minus 4. Add 4 to both sides. And we get 16 equals a times 16. Divide both sides by 16. And we get a is equal to 1. So we'll write our equation. Y equals x plus 4 squared minus 4. So what is the standard form of a quadratic? That's our ax squared plus bx plus c. And our vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k.